following a certain vision that has been kind of brewing inside of you, that's been calling you, can be a path that requires a certain amount of privacy, or can even create a sense of loneliness at times. And I think it's important to talk about these things. And I'm really happy that I think, like a lot of leaders these days, especially the ones that are online, that also have podcasts, that they talk about quite openly. And I admire that because when we are able to speak about it, we stop feeling alone in a certain sense, but we also have the courage then to keep going, because visions are, delicate in a certain way that when too many people have access to them before we've built them to a certain stage, there can be a lot of negativity or criticism that arrives from people who often don't even know what they're talking about, right? Just because they can't see it yet, or they just haven't developed the awareness of it yet. And so I'm very particular myself in when are the times that I do something quite publicly and when are the times that I must do it privately. And often for me, it's almost like, especially with a deeper creative work, it's almost like we wrestle with it, right? We really work on it and we work within ourselves, and it's a process, right? It's like thinking of, like, imagine if you're creating a sculpture, right? I mean, I've never actually done that, but it's like you're working with the material for a period of time before it actually looks like anything that somebody's going to recognize, right? And so it's perfectly okay if you're in that place and you need to do that. As I said, most of the time I'm pretty cognizant of when that is important for me, and there's many dreams that I did keep quiet, and honestly I didn't even know whether I was going to realize some of them because I was just enjoying them within. And then one day it came to be that I either pursued them or something came into my world that allowed me to have them. And sometimes I would get comments like, oh, I had no idea you would do something like that. And it was because I didn't talk about it. And I didn't talk about it because I know what people are like, especially when an idea is different than the norm, right? People start telling you, oh, this is why it can't work. These are the issues you're going to have to face. And, all the negativity comes out. And there's a place, of course, to address questions and, important concerns. But most often, other people can introduce those far too early into the equation when we haven't actually looked at why we're pursuing this, why this idea has come to us, right? But when we honor that place, that time, and the sacredness of it, then we can develop the strength, right? The courage comes up by doing the work, and then suddenly one day we're ready to share it with others. And they may very well be surprised that, like, wow, like I had no idea you were working on that. But as I just want to encourage you that sometimes that's a way to go. Even if you are somebody who is whose work is already seen and known in some way, you've achieved a certain level of success, you may still need to be in that kind of incubator phase where there is a sense of protection around it. Meanwhile, there can be certain things that you are more able to do, or sometimes even you must do more publicly. And I can think of examples where I offered a service or I began teaching something, and of course I had to make it public so people could show up and they knew it existed, right? But I was at the beginning stages, so I was like, maybe not quite an amateur. I'd probably done some either training around it or just spent a lot of time on it. But I was not yet somebody who even felt confident to call myself professional in certain things that I've done, until I had developed either a student base or a client base. I had more years under the belt. I had tried different things, and I'd really developed my own skills and ability in it, and my leadership in it. And in those cases, as I said, like I couldn't do it privately. I had to have people in front of me. And so I found in some cases that was perfectly fine. And others, I found like people would put all these expectations. Oh, well, if you really want to succeed, you have to do this to get to this level. And it was like they had all these expectations about how me becoming successful in it, when I was simply going, hey, I'm exploring this. It's like a new project for me. And I don't have a long-term vision. I don't know, will I be doing it in 5 years? I have no idea. And that's not a problem for me. I am actually just enjoying the process, right? And especially when there are kind of extra projects or different things, different tangents were going on, it can be like that, where we don't have to make a large lifetime commitment to it. We are experiencing it, we are choosing it, we are growing ourselves in it. And for me, these projects were often my more creative things that I did, and continue to do. Those are the things I tend to, as I said, either sorry, I was going to say, forget that. Let's just forget that. I was going on another tangent, and I don't want to veer into that right now. But some of the things that really are our strengths, that are our talents, sometimes they are different, they're just different, or they feel like it. And it could be different, not from like the whole world, but different from maybe the community we grew up in, different from the friends that we hang out with, different from the colleagues or clients that we're with. And to share these things with these people can be premature until they are more fully developed. And I was watching something online today, and I'm so grateful for the online space for so many reasons. Just that, the diversity of people and ideas and thoughts that we can come across is amazing. And when you use it to your advantage, like intentionally and consciously choosing things, not just entertainment and distraction, or going down rabbit holes of things that stress you out. When you actually use it with consciousness, you can discover so much about yourself, and also feel like, yes, there are other people around me. Like, it's not just me who thinks this way, and that can really help us develop certain abilities. So this video I was watching, it really, these people were in some way, like some people might say, way out there in their thinking. And for other people, it's like, oh yeah, of course, I've always felt that or known that. But, I didn't have other people to talk about that with. And it reminded me of things since childhood that I have, had awareness of and interest in, that at times I did even try and speak with friends about them and see, like, who taps into this, who gets this. And I would, I might get some curiosity. Some people listen, and some people just, don't get it, and they can't receive it. And so to hear this talked about so openly was such a gift, because immediately, like, it gave me a new level of permission to really access a kind of awareness I have. And what I'm referring to is like my intuitive ability. It's also my sense from a young age that I was here for something, that it wasn't just an accident. And I don't know what your beliefs are, but for me, I was very clear in that way. And I had a very strong awareness that, like, I am here for a purpose. There's a reason, and it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be an experience, and there is something greater, there is something beyond. And I also believe that, well, I never thought that I showed up out of nothing. I really believe, like, I came from somewhere. And it's funny now to think about it, because I don't know that anybody actually told me that, but it was just, again, an understanding. And when you have an awareness or an understanding like that, it really does shape your life, and it shapes the way you proceed. And so for me, in the places where, say, I took more risks, more creative risks than others, it was often because I saw this as a journey, right? I can be very serious, but at the same time, there's certain things I don't take so seriously, because I know it's like, oh, I can change. I can change my mind. I can go another way. I can, have this career and then suddenly add this piece and that piece, and then I can start a business, like it's just, that's how it felt to me. And that is what felt most exciting. And anytime I dropped that and I started listening to the people around me who were like, you just do this, get your job, or you have to succeed in this way, it just took like all the energy, just drained it out of me, because it was not true. It was not real for me. It was not enough. And so today, like, I encourage you, if at any point you feel on your own about something, or you're just at a stage where you're not ready to discuss it because you're developing your idea, your vision, then, this is where it's incredible to be able to connect with people, whether we're watching them or reading about what they say online, whether we're choosing to work with people online, like myself. This allows you to access people who are already on a certain wavelength, right? You don't have to convince them. You don't have to persuade them. You just get to show up as yourself, and they get it already because they've already been on that path and are on that path still. And so that is really, really valuable. And I think that makes this time in the world so incredibly special, because now we have access to things that we never could before. How many? I've traveled, right? I've traveled internationally. I've lived in different countries, and yet, like, all those times when I would be wanting to discuss certain things, I wasn't always finding people that I could do that with. But now online, that is fully accessible to me, and I am like blown away. And you know, some of the things that I listened to today just brought like a deep sense of comfort, and that also had me feel like that some of the visions that I'm working on, right, like, oh my gosh, of course this is possible and available to me, right? So we all need that encouragement, or that, watching those people who might even be ahead of us, who are going to go, yeah, keep going, because there's far more out there than most people realize or are willing to look at, or are even interested in, right? So if you're watching my videos, you probably are a visionary of some sorts, right? You probably have some ideas that you've been working on, or there's a certain part of you that is like, it's time to come out in some way and express more of who you really are. And you may not have role models in your immediate life. You may not have people who get you or who will accept that. And even if they're being polite and whatever, receptive, they may not be able to actually communicate at the level that you can. And I don't mean level as in hierarchy necessarily, but just it's kind of like we all speak different languages sometimes that have certain kinds of expression in them. And that can be like, whether you're an artist or an engineer, right? There's different languages that are spoken, different ways people communicate. And so to have people who get to communicate in our way is something that will then empower us to go further than maybe the limits that we started to place on ourselves, especially if you don't see results right away. There's, the milestones haven't been achieved yet. And so, getting that kind of energy back is really, really important, because it's like claiming who you are and being able to see that and then take it out into the world. As you may already know, I work with people one-on-one privately to, be that person that can communicate into these more visionary aspects or subtle realms sometimes, to allow that fuller expression to come out. And if you're interested, if you watch some of my videos, you're interested in having a session with me, I am doing some one-to-one, just one-off sessions or 3 sessions right now. Typically my work is deeper, it's intensives, or 90-day and longer, and those are typically 5 figures. But the 1 or 3 sessions, right, that's something that most people can access, or at least work towards. So you can take a look at that in the description box. And in the meantime, look at, where are the places that I hold back because maybe the people around me don't have that same language, or sometimes say people don't even allow others to kind of speak about themes or topics that they don't understand. And so when you're on that visionary path, you want to be able to verbalize that or write it out. You need to become very comfortable in that language that you are communicating, that vision that you're seeing, and you need to be able to do that, because that's where embodiment begins to happen. And without embodiment, we can have the most beautiful strategy written down. We can have the 100-page business plan. We can hire the right people and have the perfect social media and all that. And yet, without it, we're not going to be able to actually carry it forward and realize it in the essence that it is meant to be, to come out, And so that embodiment piece is really important, and verbalizing is one way we can begin doing it, and having, being able to have somebody who is aware enough and has maybe even a multidimensional ability to communicate in different ways, and to see the different ways that maybe we're really strong in the actions we're taking, but then emotionally we need some work there, or energetically we haven't fully aligned with it, right? Those are the things that can sometimes hold us back, even when our idea on paper looks fantastic. So that's some of the things that I work with people on as well. But yeah, keep finding the people and the experiences and the times and the places where you can be more of your fuller self, so your vision that you're ready to create can actually be realized. It can be, it can happen, it can come into form, and instead of being just a castle in the air.